Hey, this is Justin Morgan. I'm a partner of Wood Morgan. I'm speaking with Matthew.Christie today of Provide. He works in Southern California on a lot of acquisitions in the dental space, and I'll let him take it from here.
Oh, hey, Morgan. Thanks for having me on today. I certainly appreciate the opportunity to chat with you about, some things dental related. As you said, I work for Provide. It's the healthcare division of Fifth Third Bank. I've been in this industry for over 20 years. I started as a SBA lender, kind of lending to all industries and really gravitated towards medical professionals. And for the last 14, 15 years, really exclusively to dental. A little bit of mostly dental.
Cool. And so as 2023 kind of comes to a close and everybody closes their books, can you give me an overall sense of how that went, the goods and the bads?
Yeah. I mean, I would say overall, 2023 was a good year. Probably more of a normal year. 2022 was just gangbusters with all of the pent-up demand from the COVID era. 2023, I mean, we saw interest rates rise significantly in the second half. And as a result, I felt like that slowed the market down. I know for me personally, the first half was much better than the second half. We definitely had some headwinds with some banking issues that came up, as you know, in the news, Signature Bank, Silicon Valley Bank, things like that. I think that maybe shook the confidence a little bit of the market. But overall, finished strong. So, yeah.
Did that shake confidence in the buyers,
Yeah,
sellers,
I
or
think I feel like the interest rate increase and just the news of banks having issues. I did feel that in buyers. I think buyers generally tend to be very conservative, and when they hear things like that, it does make them a little apprehensive.
okay? What about the lender, right? So you're working with Provide, and you have a shop inside of Provide that makes credit decisions. How did that banking shakeup impact you guys?
Yeah, well, I mean, from a credit perspective, we didn't really change anything, right? It's not like we were going to be more conservative on our decisions um, based on, what was going on in the market. We didn't see any uptick in defaults in our portfolio. So really didn't have to, adjust our credit policies.
Okay, great. And then I might catch you off guard here with this, but what's one of your favorite stories, like your biggest win for a client in 2023?
Um, Had a couple of them, but the one that kind of pops out was doctor that was new to the United States, did not have their green card or U.S. citizenship at that time. Knew that rates were going up. I was able to get her approved. She knew she was getting her citizenship in the near future, but didn't have it yet. I was able to get her approved. We did a 180-day 6-month rate lock, so she was locked in. It was a pretty tough deal because it was a small practice. We call it the Jumpstart model.
Yeah.
Included real estate, so she had the opportunity to buy her building.
Wow.
And yeah, I got it. I got it all locked in, got it all approved, and she was able to work on her conditions while she was waiting for her citizenship. And she called me the day she got it. She's like, "You won't believe it, man, I got this." So that was a real heartwarming win, and so that one probably pops out the most.
That's really great. That's really great. And then what are you looking forward to in 2024? What are your expectations?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're seeing interest rates. The Fed announced yesterday that rates were going to stay stable and potentially decline. We've definitely seen rates decline here over the last 30 days or so. So that's going to help pick up momentum. So I think the outlook is pretty strong for
Yeah.
2024. Getting a lot of calls from buyers, so there's a lot of people coming into the market. That's on the pluses, right?
Yeah.
In maybe headwinds that we see are just those same things, right? A lot of buyers coming into the market. A good practice comes on, you got to be pre-qualified, you got to have your ducks in a row and be prepared that there's probably going to be several offers in. And so I think it
Yeah.
gets frustrating for some of the buyers, but that's the outlook, if you're saying for that. So kind of more of the same. Also seeing more doctors, maybe getting frustrated with the buying process, not able to acquire.
Mhm.
And, another headwind, but construction prices going up. It doesn't seem like that's slowing down. It seems like construction's still expensive. And so I'm doing more of the jump starts, right? What we mentioned, where people buy like a little practice and they go in and they'll remodel it. They'll get new equipment in there. We'll give them some money for working capital to help market it. And then, do kind of a quasi startup there, right? Or just the true full startup. A lot of specialists that have been looking for, that ortho practice, that pediatric office. I know you've got a couple of them, and they just can't find it, and so they're switching over to a startup as well, and just doing a true startup from there. As far as real estate seems to remain hot. A lot of people want to try to acquire a building if they can with their practice. Certainly, certainly encourage.
Yeah, that's great. And so one other kind of off the cuff question: you work throughout Southern California, and so if you were a new buyer, what are some of the areas that might be underserved and a little bit less competitive that you would be looking at in Southern California, semi close to urban centers?
Yeah, yeah. I get that question a lot, right? And if I knew the exact answer, obviously I'd probably tell all my buddies and friends to start offices there, right? But I don't know that there necessarily is a specific spot. I think it's like, what's your connection? I asked a doctor the other day, I said, what patient base do you enjoy working with the most, right? You go find that, and I think you'll be successful if you do that. Obviously, do a little demographic, homework. What's the, population per dentist? I think that's a good statistic to have if you're, looking for an area to maybe start up or, do one of these little jump starts where you're concerned about demographics.
Yeah.
Obviously where you're seeing new construction going in, there's going to be, families moving there. There's going to be population, and then again, areas that are underserved, that are, much less competitive. I would say much easier to get going.
Yeah. I was going to say, I sometimes talk to my clients about the supermarket test, right? And it's like, if they're looking at a practice, go to the supermarket and go to
absolutely. Those are your patients. Those are guaranteed to be your patients,
right? And go to the post office, right? And like, those are the people you're going to be working with.
Yeah.
And I think that's, just kind of fun. So
yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I spend some time in the area, where you see this practice that's for sale or that you're going to start up, and how, are you comfortable with that population, and I don't, it just seems like that's great advice.
Yeah. And the other thing before we kind of close up, is that, sometimes I talk to my doctor, it's like, hey, you've got a demographic report that might show 1,500 people per dentist. But you also need to look at the other dentists that you're going to be competing against, right? Because if you've got, several dentists that are maybe in a more relaxed mode of operation, like the demographics may support a new assertive dentist coming in and really focusing on building their practice. So
yeah, no, 100%. So I had a doctor, and they didn't just do a demographics report of how many dentists were in the area, but they also correlated it to when they were first licensed and when there was the high probability of them retiring. And they found an area that had a lot of doctors that were senior in their their years, and that would have been a great opportunity not only to open a practice, like you said, because maybe they're slowing down, not as robust, but also what else do you have? Acquisitions. You have the opportunity to either buy those charts or maybe buy those practices as they come up for sale.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, any closing remarks?
No, just thanks for having me, and great to see you. And let's make 2024 best one yet.
Good one, man.
Thanks.
Good to see you as well. Talk to you soon.
All right. Take care.
Bye.